Hi, this is Ronnie, coming at you with a video. I've been talking to a couple of people on Facebook, and we've been discussing post-apocalyptic games from the point of view of them being the GM. And one of the things they've been talking about is how to make the game interesting for a party of player characters. Their worry is that if they keep things very subdued, if there isn't something big, a big sort of encounter or something, that players will lose interest. It's understandable, but I think the way to view post-apocalyptic games is not to view them as science fiction in themselves or even fantasy. Spiritually, for want of a better term, look at them more in terms of horror. And what I mean by that is treat the games on a very minimal, intimate level. You don't need the big encounter. For example, if you're looking for, if you're sort of at a post-apocalyptic, the most obvious one is the post-nuclear holocaust. I suppose there's all kinds of, big disaster. Where are they getting the water from? How are they getting food? The idea of them having to go out and hunt and not find anything is in itself an interesting role-playing challenge. It's a challenge for the GM, but it's a challenge for the players as well. The fact that they may never find a water source, the fact that they may never find food, or worse, that they found food, maybe a herd of some kind, and that herd migrate. What do they do then? Do they follow the herd? Do they try and strike out on their own? A vast desert with nothing around, but they know they've got to try and go on the other side. Now, one might argue, well, just say, okay, it takes you 3 weeks and you cross the desert. And it's certainly a way to go. Or you could do the other thing, which is to really get in there and make them feel the heat of the sun on their flesh, make them feel that gasp of the dryness of their throat. It really is, spiritually sort of speaking, more like a horror game. The encounters are intimate. I mean, you can sort of build up, I suppose, if you wanted to some big encounter with some big beastie or overlord or whatever floats your boat. But for me, post-apocalyptic would entail more about trying to survive till tomorrow. How the hell do we survive till the morning? You could turn a game where finding a deer or a stag after 3 days of fruitless hunting for food because you're on the brink of starvation into the most fantastic encounter with the stag running them ragged. So my advice is, rather than go big, go small. Rather than try and find a huge encounter. Make it a small encounter. Really sell the idea that they're almost alone here. That survival might have to come at a very high price. Work that into their soul, and you might get a hell of a reaction. If you have the kind of players who are used to dungeon crawls and hack and slash, they might get bored. But if you explain to them up front that this is going to be very different, then they may enjoy it. I think they will. So that's my views, my point of view, and I'll be back soon with another video.